Welcome. Today we have got Jacob from Gladiator Law Marketing. Jacob is an expert in on-page SEO, off-page SEO, just about everything SEO. More so specifically, we're having him on today as he's an expert, most notoriously difficult of all niches, which is those that fall under the your money, your life niches. As you might be able to tell from the name of his agency, Gladiator Law Marketing is hugely successful, well-respected agency that specializes in attorney SEO. Over the course of this interview, we're going to dive deep into exactly what brings success in the more difficult niches, such as attorney SEO.
Thank you for having me, Tomas. And yes, I appreciate the kind words. I will do my best to back those up.
Do you want to give us a little heads up how you got into space in general and what brought you to where you're at today?
Yep. So currently I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Gladiator Law Marketing, like Tomas said. My road here, it's a little unusual. So I was actually in the IT realm for IT sales for about 5 years. Finally figured out that was not my calling. And I went to school for public relations marketing type degree. When I figured out, I need a new gig, I need something I love going to work for every day. That's when I got back into my marketing in the marketing industry and started here at Gladiator actually as a marketing assistant or SEO, specialist, whatever you want to call it. And since then, just worked my way to the top.
What's been the biggest lesson you've learned as part of getting you to where you are today?
Wow. Yeah, it's a difficult task when you have to learn about an entire industry that is also changing on a day-to-day basis. So, every time you think, I got a good grasp on this, boom, Google rolls out an algorithm update that completely changes everything you know about it. And I think this would be the same thing that most other SEOers would say, is just staying up on industry trends, not getting so focused on the work itself. You kind of forget everything that's happening on the outside that influences your work and your clients' campaigns. But yeah, just doing your best job to stay up to date is what I would say is the most difficult challenge up to this point.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that I find as well. It is quite an unusual industry in that sense because, as you said, it's you're operating on a moving playing board. It's actually by definition a dynamic landscape. So whereas if somebody used to work with a web development agency, someone is objectively a good developer or not a good developer. Someone objectively design's a bit more subjective, but if someone's good at design, they're good at design. Whereas it's like running up an escalator that's moving downwards. If you're not moving faster, you're literally moving backwards. So
almost
it
like
is
2 steps
interesting.
forward, 2 steps back kind of thing.
Just
keep your head above water. Yeah.
Exactly. And what worked 5 years ago isn't working today. And it's to top it all off, it's also an escalator that's moving faster every consecutive year because Google's getting faster. But yeah, I suppose that's what keeps us on our toes. That's the reason why we're spending much more time on our laptops staring at Google than we should be. But there we are.
It's the hard part, but if it wasn't hard, people wouldn't have to hire us. They just do it themselves.
You specialize in attorney SEO. What are the nuances, I suppose, the main differences in targeting that sort of website as opposed to an e-commerce business or your local butcher, something like that, or software or so on?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing that's going to differentiate, law versus those other industries you mentioned is law and medical are what Google calls your money, your life industries. So basically any online site or content that Google considers life-threatening or critical, can critically impact your life if the right decision is not made. Essentially would be the biggest caveat or nuance, I guess you could say. Google and other search engines alike, their threshold for the quality of your content and site are just held to so much of a higher standard, which understandably so. I mean, if you're looking for a doctor or a lawyer, you don't just want anything that, they spit out to you. You want somebody that's trustworthy, that, that can get the job done, that you can essentially put your life in their hands, In addition to the your money, your life, nuance there, you've also got, here in the States, every single state has different bar regulations that's essentially treating these attorneys, how they advertise, how they market. I mean, Tomas, I know you and I have talked about a couple funny ones in different states they have. Like, for instance, I think it was Texas, A law firm site cannot have an image, like a royalty-free image. They've got some stock photo of a person looking directly at the camera. They have to be looking to the side, up or down. Now, if it's professional photography, it's the attorneys themselves. That's okay. Like just those weird little regulations that you got to watch out for, in addition to the quality thresholds that are already being held. Yeah.
Like delving deeper into that, how can your money, your life, actually first, if you could elaborate on more examples of different websites that would fall under that criteria, your money, your life, but how can a your money, your life website, or YMYL, as we refer to it for the rest of the interview, establish credibility in its niche?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, other examples of YMYL type sites, you doctors, physical therapists, psychiatrists, accountants, tax accountants, basically anything under the umbrella that has to deal with finances, accounting, or medical related. When talking about stand out in the crowd when you're in this type of industry, I'll talk on legal specifically because that's what's
of course.
It comes down to what they call EAT. That's expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So you have to have those three aspects of your brand and of your site built out in the correct way to where you show that you're the expertise in this field of law. You show you're authoritative in this area of law, and also not only Google, but show the users that they can trust you. Now, each one of those different topics, you're going to want to focus on different things in order to get them built out. So for instance, expertise when it comes to a law firm's website. And, you could even put this for any local SEO, or any local business, service business, more specifically, to help build that expertise, your biography on your site, whether that be about your company or a specific team member, the owner, founder, whatever it may be. Those bios need to be very well written. They need to encompass all of that, again, that business or that person's accolades, their experience, awards, schooling. And you also want to link out to those sources when it's appropriate. You're a lawyer and you've got, a profile on your alma mater for some reason, link out to that. Any awards, like credible awards, you'd want to link out to that as well. In addition to that, you're also going to want to have, like, each page and post on your site, you need to delegate an author to. Now, it can be multiple, and you can either do that on the back end by selecting the author. What I've seen done the majority of the time in the legal industry, though, is where they have these, we call them bio blurbs, but at the very bottom of all the content, whether it be on a page or a post, you'll have just like a little snippet there, usually with a picture of the attorney, a little blurb about their experience, and a link to their bio, which again helps build that expertise, shows that they are the author for said page. And then just talking about content in general, I mentioned how your money, your life sites, the quality of their content is held to a higher standard. So your content has to be very high quality, very well written, and covers all the aspects of said particular service or your business. And you want to make sure that the content and the information you're providing is helpful to the user. If you put a bunch of stuff on there, let's say you're a plumber, and on your plumbing services page, you go into the nuts and bolts about how, I'm not a plumber, so I'm not sure what they're talking, how to correctly thread a certain pipe or something like that. The users aren't going to need to know that. If they wanted to know that, they'd first search up, look up probably a YouTube video or something. But they're coming to your site to figure out how you can help them with that, not so you can tell them.
Okay.
One good way to also help your content and answering users' short and long tail questions would be, FAQs. That is a very easy way to show the user, the exact situation that they're in. These are frequently asked questions from other users like them, and you give them the answer. Hey, here's your answer. This is what we can do to help you, et cetera, et cetera. That's, how you can build your expertise out. So in short, bios need to be well written. You need to delegate an author for every page and post to help build on that expertise. And then also just having very high quality content.
Based on your understanding, I suppose I'm on my end personally delving more into entity-based SEO these days. So Google's understanding of the separate entities that are an attorney firm, a separate entity for the authors and so on. And for anybody listening, an entity is just a thing. Google's understanding of said thing. Do you take any actions to flesh out Google's understanding of that connection between the author and the article itself. So what I'm probably asking more specifically is, do you leverage schema in order to kind of bring in those attributes? So for example, you said that you like to link out to where an author may have studied and so on. Is that information that you will embed with hyperlinks, or do you add that as metadata into the schema itself? Or do you use a plugin, or do you like to custom write that?
Yep. So we actually utilize both paths there. So you read my mind. We definitely use schema. And if you are a local business and you're not utilizing schema, you're not doing yourself justice. Schema, or metadata, as what a lot of people call it, it is very impactful. It's essentially code on the back end of your site that tells Google exactly what the page is about. So they don't have to try to figure it out themselves, essentially. They might mix signals, might think it's covering another topic, whatever it may be. And I just do want to note that although schema is very impactful and very good tool to use when used correctly, if you used wrong or the wrong information's in it, it can be detrimental to your rankings. So you be careful when building this stuff out. But yes, Tomas, we utilize schema on the back end of our bio pages to help, called same as schema. So we'll link up to their award pages that they're on, the schooling we mentioned, wherever they got their JD, the bar, if they have a profile on there, but also do contextual links as well. When it comes to attorneys, bio pages are the most visited pages on a law firm's website. I mean, a user wants to see who they're potentially going to be working with. So you definitely want to have those items in place, though. Yeah.
I suppose the way I would describe it to users is, for anyone that doesn't understand the role of schema, I kind of think of it like a user manual for Google, again, to actually have a better understanding of what it's looking at behind the scenes. Would you feel like that would be a fairly accurate explanation?
Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate.
You told me, I mean, as far as I can see, Gladiator Law Marketing, that is the place to go if you're an attorney in the US. We talked before, and you told me you've got some insane results for your clients, but I'm sure people can ask you about that personally.
GladiatorLawMarketing.com. We've been in the industry over 10 years now, and I actually have a 95% client retention rate. And I think the average is around 70 in the industry. So we're doing something right.
GladiatorLawMarketing.com. That's where people can find you. Am I missing out on anything else?
No, you got it. I appreciate you having me, Tomas. This was fun.
No, listen, thanks so much, man. And all the best. Cheers.